Hello everyone, thanks for watching this film. I'm Rosa Corella, the director of Room Without a View. In Lebanon, there's a 250,000 of migrant domestic workers coming from Africa and Asia, hired under the kafala system, what is called the kafala system. That means that their passports are confiscated. As soon as they step into the country, they are required to live with the employers, the families they are working for, and most of them, they are locked in the house. They cannot leave the house without permission, and they work 7 days per week without day off. I was shocked when I discovered that there is a system that promotes new forms of slavery, and that's why I decided to make this film. I started this film in Bangladesh a few years ago. I was there at the time working in another project, and I discovered that a huge number of girls and women were traveling to Lebanon as domestic workers, because in Bangladesh there's no work for women, and this business has become a huge business, moves a lot of money, and has become the second source of income of the country. And I was shocked when I started interviewing girls who had returned after a few years in Lebanon, because what they told me, their experiences were horrible. Some of them, they didn't have enough food, they were sleeping on the balcony or on the kitchen floor, they were abused in all forms that you can imagine. And I was horrified, and I decided to follow some girls who were planning traveling to Lebanon. And what I found is when I arrived in Beirut is that I couldn't follow track of these girls because basically they were locked in the house. And also I realized that most of the girls didn't have enough information about the working conditions and also about the job. Some of the agencies lied to them. They told them that they would work in a supermarket or as a babysitter, and they would have time to work in another places or have time to continue their studies, which of course is not true. So when they arrive in Lebanon, they are shocked that they are locked in the house, they cannot change employers, they cannot leave the country because the families are the legal responsible of them. And basically they are excluded from the labor law. It means that they don't have rights to defend themselves and neither institution to protect them. So that's why I decided to make this film. At the beginning, I decided to focus the film only on domestic workers, but then I realized that it's a complex topic, and I wanted to show all these complex layers from the legal frame of the system that covers all these new forms of slavery. Also the architectural patterns of the city that are based on racism and discrimination. And also I wanted to explore a bit this private space of the house, which reproduces the patriarchal society that also discriminates Lebanese women, and they then abuse on the migrant domestic worker. It's a complex topic, and I wanted to put into dialogue all the parties involved in this issue. Working as independent filmmaker, one good thing is that you have time to spend with the people, time to build a trust. And whatever is your opinion about the topic, it's very important to approach people without being judgmental. That means that you have to build trust and being open to hear what they have to say. So I think I took the advantage of being a foreigner, and in this sense I was neutral to approach people. So yeah, I took my time to get closer to the domestic workers, also to find people that could represent this Lebanese society and get also their testimonies, and that was the most difficult part, I have to say, because even it's normalized having a 24 hours maid living at home. Lebanese society know, not everyone, but they know that there's something wrong with the system, that also it's a taboo. And the only way, not the only way, but I started to interview them only with a microphone, because the camera is also aggressive, and in this way they could keep to be anonymous, and that was a good strategy, because then they open up to talk about their experiences and their opinion about the kafala system. Some of them, they support the kafala system, and some of them, they are against. Also, you have this contradiction within the society, which was very interesting for me to also to portray in the film. I met most of the domestic workers through NGOs or other organizations that try to help those workers, either in the country of origin, in this case, for example, Bangladesh, and in Lebanon also, through some organizations that help them or try to give them support. I have to say that in Bangladesh it was easier to talk with them, because they were in their country, and they felt without a threat, like in Lebanon. In Lebanon, they know if they talk too much, they can be deported, and it's a problem for them. So in Lebanon, it was difficult to make them talk, because they were afraid, basically. And yeah, because also some of them are in an illegal situation after running away from the houses, and because the family has the passport, when they escape, they don't have the passport, and they become illegal worker in the country. So it's very difficult for them. At the beginning, I decided to focus only on the domestic workers. I wanted to make them to be the main characters, but I decided to include other parties, because it's a complex topic, and I thought it was important to understand the mentality of the Lebanese society, and also the mentality behind all this labor law, why they are excluded. That's why I make interview to the Ministry of Labor, and I decided also to include interviews with the Lebanese society, to the agencies and other experts, for example, an architecture, a lawyer, or other experts, because then I could add some layers on the topic and explain deeply and in a better way the complexity of the topic. The first main step to have a real change and to gain all the rights for those workers, invisible workers in Lebanon, because they are the most vulnerable ones, would be abolishing the kafala system. That would be the legal part, because they could be part of this labor law and have some basic rights as workers. But I think it's very important also at the same time to change the mentality of the people, because there's a lot of racism and discrimination in Lebanon, and this is something that I think it's necessary to work, especially with the young generation, to change the mentality, because without this change, even if the law change, nothing will happen. So it's very important to work in educational programs with the youth to change the mentality, and I hope this film can be a tool to create a discussion and debate about the topic. Thank you for watching the film.